In most AC machines, it is usually a standard practice to use. Okay, he has given three types of windings and coils here. Okay, fractional slot winding, integral slot winding, corded coils, or full pitch coils. Okay, generally we will use corded coils. Okay, because if you provide the corded coils, it is having some angle alpha. Generally we will call it as pitch factor Kp is equal to cos alpha by 2, where alpha is called as chorded angle. Okay, why we'll provide this chorded angles is to reduce harmonics. Okay, you can say it as to reduce lower order harmonics. That's why we need chorded coils instead of full pitch coils. Okay, for full pitch coils, coil span factor is 180 degrees. For chorded coils, it is less than 180 degrees. Okay, to reduce lower order harmonics, we need chorded coils. Okay, option A and D can be neglected here. Now, out of integral and fractional slot winding, we use fractional slot winding because we can reduce higher order harmonics using this fractional slot winding. Integral slot winding, which will not eliminate higher order harmonics. Okay, generally, if you see any AC machine, it doesn't consist full pitch coils, it consists of corded coils which with fractional slot windings to reduce the effect of harmonics. Option C is correct answer. Armature MMF of a DC machine has. Okay, if you see here in options, he has given three types of shapes: triangular, trapezoidal, and stepped. Okay, now what is MMF? MMF is equal to N into I, number of turns into current I. Okay, we know that EMF induced is directly proportional to rate of change of flux linkages. This is called as Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, I can write this one as phi is equal to some constant k into integral of E into dt. Okay, since this is DC machine, current is in phase with voltage. Okay, some constant, let us take it as k1 into I into dt. Okay, now if this current is constant, now what is integral of constant? Integral of constant we will get it as ramp waveform. Okay, that means this is directly proportional to a ramp waveform. Now, how will be the flux linkages under north pole and under south pole? Okay, we will take it as under north pole positive and under south pole we will take it as negative. That means if we have increasing waveform under north pole, it should be a decreasing magnitude of ramp waveform under south pole. Okay, similarly for n number of cycles. This type of waveform is nothing but a triangular waveform. Okay, so flux waveform, that is armature MMF, N into I, since N is constant, MMF waveform depends only on current. Armature MMF of a DC machine has triangular waveform and which is stationary in space. So option D is correct answer. Rapson method is not used for distribution systems load flow studies because the main reason for this is in distribution systems we have loading at almost throughout the distance. Okay, there will be number of tappings will be there for current in distribution system. Okay, that means we have to analyze at each and every tapping point. Okay, that's why the Newton-Raphson methods, there is no guarantee for the conversion when you analyze in distribution systems when compared to transmission systems. Okay, whatever options he has given, we don't have any option. Okay, the rate of convergence is not possible with distribution systems. So answer is D, none of this. Back-to-back connection is used in HVD systems to provide synchronous tie or bulk power transmission or reduce voltage drop, and he has given last option as to block the reactive power. If you see the back-to-back connection in HVDC transmission line, this is converting 3-phase to DC, okay, and we have to convert from DC to AC. Okay, this is converter 1 and this is converter 2. Okay, now here if you see option A, to provide synchronous tie. What do you mean by synchronous tie? We have to maintain sending end frequency and receiving end frequency as same. Okay, the major advantage of when you connect back-to-back converters is we can also connect the frequencies of different, which is at sending end and receiving end. That is called as asynchronous tie. If you have option to provide asynchronous tie, then it is correct. To provide synchronous tie, this is option A is wrong. Okay. Now look at option C, to reduce voltage drop. No, if you, when you connect converters both back to back, that means we are increasing one converter more, we have more voltage drop. So option C is also not correct. Now look at option D, to block the reactive power. Okay, we cannot block the reactive power here. If you see the converters in HVDC system, they always observe reactive power and deliver reactive power. It depends upon the system you have. When you have converter 1 is acting as rectifier, it will deliver reactive power. When converter 2 acting as an inverter, it will observe reactive power. It will not block reactive powers. So only option remaining is, you can put it as bulk power transmission. Okay, if there is any option like to provide asynchronous tie, then the predominant one should be asynchronous tie option. Since whatever given options here which is not available, the next predominant factor you can take it as bulk power transmission. So option B is correct. Surge impedance of a transmission line is not depends on, this is very important, not depends on. Okay, now what is surge impedance Z? Okay, let us take it as ZS. ZS is given as, suppose he has not given here whether it is ideal transmission line or practical transmission line. So what we have to do is, we have to take it for practical transmission line. Okay, now what is surge impedance for practical transmission line? This is R plus J times of omega L by G plus J times of omega B. Okay, now surge impedance will depend on resistance, inductance, or you can say it as admittance. So this can also be written as Z by Y. Okay, so these two options directly we can eliminate, A and B. Now what about length of the line? If you see here, when you mention this one, impedance in per kilometer and admittance per kilometer, or you can write this one as Z into L by Y into L. So length always gets cancelled. So it is, ratio is always in ohm per kilometers or ohm per meters or Siemens per meters. Okay, so length of the line is also does not depend. Okay, so what is the answer here? All of these is the correct answer. The surge impedance of a transmission line, that is practical transmission line, does not depend on radius of the conductor, distance between spacing of conductors, and length of the line also. So all of these is the correct answer.